Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my goodness. Did this episode deliver at the end? Yes. Did it deliver in the beginning? No. I'm so sorry. I don't care about Christine and David. I don't. I'm going to talk about it, but I don't care about Christine and David. But let me say something. Janelle Brown, you redeemed yourself for me, hun. You redeemed yourself for me in this episode because I actually appreciate you telling us some stuff. Janelle decided that she was going to open a can of shut your mouth on him. And I loved it. Okay. Tisha here. Welcome or welcome back. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button. Top of my notes. This is what I have to say. I have come to the conclusion that after watching this episode, that Cody is going to continue to say and do things that piss us off so that he can remain relevant on this show. I do not think, or I hope at least, that he actually believes the crap that he's feeding us. But maybe he does. And if he does, then that's even more cause for concern. Because at this point, we're not dumb. His ego is bruised. And for the first time in a long time, his crap isn't working on these ladies. And it's great to see. But let's get into the actual episode. So we begin the episode in Utah at the Lover's Nest, where Christine is with her kids and they're about to have one of the traditional family meals that they used to have that Mary introduced to the family. David is on his way to have dinner. At this point, he's met everybody, all of Christine's kids and their significant others, with the exception of Gwen and Peyton. Now, Gwen is not there tonight, but Peyton is, and this will be his first time meeting him. He says as soon as David walks in, all four of us are probably going to in some way establish that this is who we are. I personally don't feel like sarcasm is a great introduction. That's just me. Am I sarcastic at times? Yes. But it seems to me like a lot of times some of them just try too hard. We heard a lot of side comments from Cody and Mykelti in this. Not Cody. He acts so much like him. I guess that's what I'm calling him. From Tony and Mykelti in this, that I'm not even putting it in there. Oh, in case I forget, if there's something that I forget to mention, feel free to put it down below. So Peyton's like, I haven't met him yet, but I'm excited to meet him. Christine is nervous that her kids won't behave. Christine answers the door, and her and David tongue each other down yet again. I do not understand, for the love of me, why production insists on making sure that they zoom in on them French kissing. I personally am tired of seeing it, and I'm not even one of her kids. At this point, we find out that her and David, or we're reminded that they've been together for a couple of months. He walks in and he gets a hello, Richard, from Peyton. And someone's like, who is Richard? And he says, that's normally what you call a David. Not all the time. There are Davids that are actually Davids. Peyton says, oh gosh, he's old. Maybe he's too old for mom. He laughs about it. So I don't know if he was really harping on it. They talk wedding venues because Aspen wants to know how they felt about everything, considering how large of a wedding this will be based on the people. We find out that not only does Christine have a large family, but he does as well. He has two sisters that at one point practiced polygamy. Not quite sure in that whole situation because he says they're no longer a part of it. One because she got divorced and the other because her husband passed away. But does that mean she's no longer believing in the faith, or that they just currently aren't married to anyone? Who knows? Nor do I really care, if I'm being honest. Despite not being engaged, they're setting a date for sometime in October because October is a really popular time in their area. Aspen says, all of this is just happening so fast. My mom was with my dad for 25 years, so her talking about being married right now seems like it's really quick. We find out that David, at some point, asked Christine's father if he could have his blessing to marry his daughter. And the father didn't hesitate to say, yes, you can marry Chris. He then got up and made David a plate of food, which apparently is a big deal considering that her father has problems with mobility, number one. And number two, because of how much Christine values her father in his opinion. We hear about how for their second date, they saw The Little Mermaid. I'm assuming it was on play, not quite sure. The song Kiss the Girl was playing, and Christine thought that this would be a perfect time to get a kiss from him because she's so eager to get it. David's like, it was a second date. I'm not that type of person. I'm a gentleman. I wanted to take my time. But Christine has been scarred from the stuff that she's been through with Cody. And as a result of that, she wanted to make sure that this guy really was into her. She didn't want a repeat of what she's experienced. They do a bunch of sarcastic talking and making jokes and all that other stuff. Lou comments about, wanting to get it on and whatever else that Tony makes. Ugh. Then we see Cody say that he knew that Christine would be dating when she left because her goal was to find a soulmate. I don't understand why they keep wanting Cody to comment on this situation. Cody's main focus at this point needs to be his kids. It doesn't need to be Christine. Just my opinion. He said he hasn't heard about her dating, nor is he really interested, but he wishes her well. We see her kiss David again while Aspen is sitting right next to her. She says her kids have to get comfortable with this because she sees them kissing their significant others and she wants to kiss hers as well. I personally do not feel like Christine is being considerate of her kids at all. And I don't like it. It's fine if you disagree with me. I understand she's older. I understand that her timeline is different. I understand that things are working out for her now. She's celebrating her year anniversary and all those things. But this is new to them. Ease them into it. Don't just rush and do it. I've been in that situation, and I'm telling you, sometimes it makes you resent the parent that is doing that, and it makes you not like their significant other. I'm just saying. Christine says, now that she's in this situation, she knows that she gave Tony and Mykelti a hard time, but now that she's experiencing things for herself, she's understanding why they rushed. Peyton talks about, how he has a question to ask. And to me, it's a very important question. He says, look, I approve of this. I'm for it. But if I didn't approve of it, would it matter? And David said no. Now, I don't know if he was joking when he said it. Seemed kind of serious to me. You all tell me what you think. But I was pretty frustrated for her kids when I heard him say no. We are told that Isabel and Peyton, out of all the kids, Peyton, are having the hardest time. We find out that Janelle hasn't met him, but she'll be meeting him within the next couple of weeks. Janelle says, I've heard a lot about him. No, I haven't met him. I've seen him. I've seen pictures of him. She's talked to me about him, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed alone at the fact that this man was married to a woman, that they had 8 children together, and that he was a very present parent, that after his wife passed, that he still remained very involved in his kid's life. Christine then talks about how they're going to get matching tattoos and all those other things. And so, it's a run through of all of that. They show Cody saying how, he's looking back at things now, and now he's not as mad and he's not having as much regret when it comes to his relationship with Christine. He can now think that they did have some good times. He says he doesn't think that he can be friends with her, though, because when he looks back at everything, he can't get past the betrayal. He just keeps feeling betrayed. I would love for him to talk about how he betrayed her for once. I'm so tired of him and his revisionist history and him not admitting the truth, because I don't see what way she betrayed him other than finally telling her kids that he said he was in a loveless marriage, which all they had to do was turn on the TV and listen to the way that he speaks about their mom, and she didn't have to say anything. Later in the episode, we see Christine and David go ring shopping. You guys tell me, how do y'all feel about the whole ring shopping thing? I feel like, me personally, I want it to be a surprise. Like, that was one of the best parts about when I was engaged, was seeing what he picked out. I'm not saying don't tell your significant other like the things that you're interested in, or maybe possibly looking at rings together. I know my friend that got engaged a couple months ago, I want to say a year and a half before he actually proposed, they did go and look at rings. But these people are really like trying on things, picking out his and hers. It's a lot going on for people that have only been married for a couple, well, engaged. No, not even engaged. That's right. Only been together for a couple of months. It's just, you know, a little odd to me. I personally would want it to be a surprise. You all tell me what you would want. We hear the various ladies from the OG3 talk about what they would want. Janelle's like, at this point, I would just want it to be, you know, something simple. I don't need all the wedding and all this other stuff. We then hear a repeat of Cody saying what he already said. Editors, work on this, because you keep giving us the same footage already. We don't need you to do that within 20 minutes of each other with that same confessional where he says the exact same thing. Christine says how this time around she wants to have the bridal shower and the wedding shower and all the things that come with the wedding that she never got. Janelle wants it to be simple. If she ever does it again, she's down with doing it in jeans. Mary says right now it's strange to even think about that and what her next situation would look like. We see them pick out, you know, their design. David wants a black ring. Christine originally had something, I don't know if it's white gold or if it's just silver. Either way, it looked like silver, gold, and black to me with some diamonds. She's incorporating the black to match David's black ring. If I had to be honest, as I said, I'm kind of over them at this point. I feel like they made a mistake and they dropped the ball in showing us the marriage first, because I know how it ends. So do I want to see some of their story? Yes, but it doesn't have to be this heavy. It should have been heavy like this during the wedding special. So we're black. Well, I am back, but I mean black. I promise you, sometimes I can speak without getting tongue-tied. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, we are BACK, back in Flagstaff. It's Cody's 55th birthday, which lets us know that we've jumped to the current, because when I looked it up, Cody is currently 55, which means it's now 2024. Am I seeing it right? Maybe I should have looked at it again. This is filmed all out of sequence, or maybe we just caught back up. He says he was up late talking to Robin about life because he struggled with his values since the divorce. He keeps acting like Christine leaving him is why he's struggling. Cody was attached to his faith, in my opinion, for the wrong reasons. One person leaving you when you keep saying that you really wanted them to leave and you were in a loveless marriage and all these other things should not cause you to question where you stand when it comes to your faith. Your faith is your faith. If anything, you should be feeling like, oh, I don't know, something's going to happen to her because based on the books that I read, that's what y'all say, right? He says that he had a big picture that was basically destroyed, and now he's trying to figure things out. Cody's identity was in his family, because I don't mean to say it like this, but what is he at this point without them? If it weren't for this show, who would he be? He says, despite everything, he has a safe, kind, and sweet place with his wife, Robin. Then he has tons of guilt because he's not involved with everybody else that is out there. Who is everybody else? And out where? He keeps on showing us time and time again that he is the one that created this us against them situation, because he says and does things that cause division. It wasn't Christine. It wasn't Mary. It wasn't Janelle. It was the bald eagle and his bird that did this. We then hear, Kody has been very angry and upset. He's been a very lost person the last few years, and I have to recognize it for what it is. It's just him in a painful place, a place of fear that I will leave him to. So, is he upset and in a painful place because he lost his family bird? Or is he upset and in a painful place because he's fearful about losing you? Because the way you worded that there, as usual to me, you made it more about you than you did about the loss of the family, about the damage that has been done with his relationship with his kids because of him and because of you. Bald Eagle talks about how he imagined that, his 5 oldest kids would live across the street from them with his spouses. That was me trying to like for a moment, he looked like he was crying. He tapped into his inner Robin. And part of me does feel like he misses his kids, but I don't feel like he misses them for the right reasons. But you guys tell me what you think. He said, all of his stuff, all of that came out of the affection that he had for his family. Not the love, but the affection. I don't quite get that. So his new goal is to be their dad. You should have never stopped being their dad. And in order to accomplish being their father, you're going to have to actually show up and put them before yourself and before the feathered crew, because it seems like that's what you've always done. So we hear Robin, I just want to say, can you remember who you are? Remember the guy that I met? The guy that I saw loving his kids. And I feel like he's struggling right now because he's so hurt. But it's not who he is. So who is he? Who is he? Because he's shown us time and time again, this is who he is, y'all. I think it is the funniest thing when I actually make myself cry. Bird, come to my class. I don't know how I do it, but sometimes when I imitate you, I cry, girl. It just happens. He claims from here on out, he's going to be the loving father and dad that has given him purpose. It's always about him. It's never about his kids. He's not going to be the loving father that his kids need. He's going to be the loving father, and hopefully this will, help with his purpose. He desires to make his family whole again. Cut to Kody, showing us why his family isn't whole. It's the next day. Janelle meets up with Kody, and Janelle gives us some really important things that I'm probably going to have to dive into in a say what, because it was so juicy, okay? Janelle talks business. He walks in and he's like, this is intimate. And she's looking at him like, like, no, it's not. We're off to the side where we can film. There's nothing intimate about this. She says, at this point, I hope he's walking in with a concrete plan because I don't trust. She's like, I feel like I may need to have a contingency plan. And If I do, I will. I have already talked to a lawyer in town. There's a bunch of them. So she's not playing, at least that's what she's saying right now. She wants them to come up with what they're going to do in terms of the land by February, because at this point, they only have 3.5 months to do what they have to do for the land. He tells her they got months, they got plenty of time. This is him stalling again. And Janelle has been with him long enough now that she knows this. So she says, we signed a bad contract. We were not smart with this contract. If we do not pay off this land by the date that is stated on the contract, if we do not make that balloon payment, they can take back the land. Kody says, I know we got to get it paid off, but I don't feel like doing Janelle any favors because he's always got to play a game. Janelle wants to know if he's interested in buying her out. He says, wait a second. You're jumping to the end. What about us? What about you living on the property? What about you and me? This man cannot be serious. Janelle does not want you. She does not want you anymore. She doesn't really desire to even be on the land with you. Janelle is like, we don't exist in the same universe anymore. I think you're awesome. She's giving him the, it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me talk. She's like, you know, I will admit that when I talk to you a little bit, you do still kind of got your hooks in me. I think that that hook is the reason why Janelle just won't come out and say that she, you know, wants a divorce, because some part of her is still attracted to this man. I don't see how after all he's done to her and her kids, but okay. She's like, but you know, Kody, I've just been so happy. I don't foresee a long-term thing for us. She's like, Kody hasn't been in my house for 2 years. I don't even know who he is anymore. He says, yeah, you know, you're saying that we've talked about this, but we haven't really talked about, you know, our relationship. We haven't really had a conversation about it. And Janelle says to us, we've had so many conversations about this relationship. And I've said it before, I'm done, you're done, we're done, I'm done, we're not compatible. And he's agreed. So yeah, it's sad. But this whole situation and what he's pulling right now is a diversion tactic. And that's what it is. He then says, you know, with everything that's happened, you know, with the divorces, I've determined that, you know, I'll never say a bad thing about Meri again. And I'll always be friends with her. Did I hear that correctly? Did I? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Rewind the track. Did I hear that correctly? I will always be friends with Meri. Are you freaking kidding me? You did that lady wrong on so many levels. You left her hanging. You strung her along. You didn't allow her to have intimacy with you. She still would be with you to this day if you didn't say what you said this last time at Coyote Pass and in her house and on the television for all of us to see. And you're talking about how you'll always be friends with her. Friends don't do what you've done. He says, you know, I talk about reconciling with Janelle because I like to be back in the good graces of my children. I said, mofo, you can't be serious. He is always playing games. And I wonder if he hears himself, because here he is once again letting us know, letting his kids know if they watch, that he is putting on an act in order to get what it is that he wants. He feels like reconciling with her would kind of require like a power thing, a power shift of some sort. He says that he thinks it's kind of fair, but at the same point, this is a fake discussion. He's like, if we're being honest, I really feel like neither one of us want to be accountable for the breakup. I don't think that that's the case. I think at this point, you don't want to be accountable for the breakup because you know you are, because you dropped the ball. Janelle says he wants a wife that's different from me. It's over. She tells Bald Eagle, you complain about my independence and I'll complain about your selfishness because you're self-absorbed. He wants to know, like, did this happen within the past 2 years? And she's like, you know what, Cody? Maybe you've always been this way. And he has. She just didn't see it. Because whatever she had before him was even worse than what she got from him. He looks sad that she said it. He's like he's defeated. Like, oh, wait a second here. This isn't working. I thought I was going to be able to sit across from her, say a little thing about, recreating our love, and maybe she would be on board for it. I give her a little bit of peen and then we'd be good to go. She says, the kids talk about the dad that they used to have all the time. He says the kids have shut me out. And they're going off of what's happened because of the pandemic. They're not thinking about before. He is like talking to a brick wall. Janelle said before all of this, he used to be a good dad despite the way that their relationship flowed. But he's not like that anymore. She tells him, at this point, I've just come to realize that your life is always centered around Robin's house. He says in the past 2 years, yeah, because she was where things were safe. And Janelle's like, no. Even before that, I wasn't as important. The Bird says, anytime Cody makes a choice and they don't like it, I get blamed. That's a lie. It has been very clear to all of us that none of these women were loved the same way. He said it himself that he wasn't in love with those 3 women, which means it wasn't an even playing field, which means you've always had a step above them. She said, this new concept, this whole thing that Janelle and the other wives are saying, this is a new concept that, she does evil spells on Cody and she just has him wrapped around her finger and she chuckles about it. She then tells us the same thing that she always does, which is, if you know Cody Brown, he's not to be controlled. Then does she know Cody Brown? Because he's clearly being controlled by her and her cookie. Janelle's like, your life centered around the little kids. And he's like, it always has. So you're admitting that once they get of a certain age, you discard them. Got it. He wants to know if the disconnect is because Janelle doesn't have little kids anymore. Is that why there's a generational gap between her and Robin? Janelle's like, maybe, but I don't really think it has anything to do with that. I think it's just that I don't have anything in common with her. She says, there have been times that you've got upset with me based off of conversations that I had with her. I remember a specific time on my birthday. I don't know how you knew what I spoke of, and it was just with her. And it's easy because she told him. We then find out that when it came to that huge house that they got, that Janelle asked Robin to please buy a home that is not going to chew through their resources. In other words, everybody else is downsizing, even Mary, who has additional income other than this show. You, Bird, have no additional income. All you have is this show. And we need you not to chew through our budget, not to eat up all the money, not to take the little bit of profit that you already ate up with the 4 trucks sitting on the land for months at a time, renting and doing all the other things that you were doing to get in this big house that is oogly, that you wanted so badly. Can you please not chew through them? Can you please not run up that bill? Can you think about downsizing as well? Will it hurt you if your kids do like what our kids did for years, which is share a room? She says that in her face, Robin was okay with it. But then Cody comes up to her later on and tells her she was mean to Robin and starts fussing at her about it. Bird says, I didn't tattle on Janelle. The way that you're responding to it makes me feel like you did, because you're doing that thing that you do with your eyebrows when you lie. I just told Cody that Janelle and I were in agreement about not buying a home. And then it turned into some huge thing, and it got, me into trouble with Janelle. Because you ran your mouth and said something that you shouldn't have said. You didn't even have to tell Cody that you had that discussion, even if it was a different version of it. Bald Eagle says, don't go down that road if you're trying to heal things. And Janelle's like, okay, there's no point in us talking about this, because this is what you do. This is what happens every time myself or someone else, my kids, bring up an issue that they have with Robin, because she's so perfect and he worships her. And as a result, we can't talk about anything. She says, part of being a husband in plural marriage is that you're supposed to hear everyone equally, but he doesn't do that. We then go to Mary. It's Mary's birthday, time for her carriage house reveal. Mary's excited to run her business from there. Upstairs is going to be a gym. It's been a month since the split, and she's really excited about this. She's happy to see what Blair and Jen have done. So she walks in and she loves it. It's good. I still can't believe that she sells clothing there. It looks nice. He did a good job. They put one of her mother's memory bears. Apparently, they took some of her clothing and made bears with all of it. I think that's a really cute idea. I'm going to steal that. To have, to keep as a keepsake. So it's in the corner. Mary sees it. Mary cries. She loves it. She also loves the Jim Mary as well. She then sits at the table and she says, if they don't want to sit at your table, make your own. Jen and Blair join her. They have nothing but cakes. I love their bundt cakes. There, put it on the table. She blows out the candle. She says, I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not wanted. I want people who want to be around me to be in my life. That's the end of that. Back to Janelle and Cody. She said the fact that I can't talk to Cody about my emotions and feelings, this is a big indicator that there are some things wrong here. He says, Janelle, but you can talk to me. She says, no, there's a bias and I don't want to do it anymore. He says, Janelle has a card that says victim and she likes to play it. It's funny how everybody turns into a victim when it comes to Cody, even though him and his bird are the biggest victims there are. Janelle says, that's such a man thing to do. I'm a woman trying to advocate for myself, and he wants to put a label on it like me talking about my feelings is victim behavior. She says, look, Cody, we don't work. It's not equal. He says that it's equal, but it's not. He keeps on interrupting her while she's talking, which is what he always does, and it gets on my nerves. He says that his primary motivation for this whole thing is reconciling the family, but he's not talking about his family with Janelle, in my opinion. He's talking about his family with the bird, because Robin wants plural marriage. He asks them, he says for them to reconcile, they have to partner. He doesn't feel like it's been a partnership. What do you want to partner with, her money? Janelle says, I almost don't consider us being married. When she said it, I got an attitude, but then she explained that her spiritual belief says that they're still married. Cody's like, let's cut the BS on that one. She says, no, I still struggle because unlike him, she believes in it. Because if she didn't believe in it, she wouldn't have said that. She says, I struggle because I know I'm done and I don't want to go back. She says, I don't want to be married to him anymore, but I don't know who it is that I asked for the release because we were, done with our other church. She says, but maybe I need to do like what Mary did, because Mary was able to get a release and he thinks they can make it work. Janelle says, I think that, you and I are different people, that he keeps bringing up how we can get back together again, but he's not driven by any real emotion. She says, if he were heartbroken, you would see distress and more effort, not just on his side, but on hers as well. This is about his ego and because of how it will look to their culture, because this looks like a failure to have lost all these marriages in the culture except one. That's what it comes down to. He says, do you want to build on Poopville, or Pooville as I call it, or Coyote Piss Pass as Tina calls it? Or do you want the money? And she's like, I think I prefer the money. He says, if she builds on Coyote Pass, Robin and I will see an ex-wife on Coyote Pass. Why would we want to go there? Kind of want her to do it. Because if she does it, then I can leave the area. Cody can't go anywhere. He's tied there for right now because that is where his bird wants to be. She made him promise, and all the family before they left, that's where they were going to plant their roots. He says, do you want to try our love affair again? And she says, she talks about how she thought about moving closer to her grandkids. He wants to know why Maddie didn't call him and say that I'm having another baby. And she's like, look, I'm not getting in the middle of it, but I just know that he hasn't been there to see her since she was born. Evie, since she was born. And at this point, Evie's 3.5. He's like, I know what it is. It's jealousy and gossip. She's like, Cody, it's a lot more to it than that. He then goes on his thing. I was a hero for 25 years to these kids, and now I'm not. I don't know. I don't know the answers to this. I know that it's been a hard process and that I'm moving forward with a lot of disappointment and failure, but hope that we can patch up some of the heartbreak. Janelle tells him that, you know, I talked to the lawyer that we used in the past, and he's like, oh. He says he can meet with both of us. It could be a fact-finding thing. At least he can look at our contract and let us know what we can do about it. He says, Janelle will do anything to screw me over. So she's afraid I'll screw her. You've already screwed her for years. And not in a way that she wanted to be screwed. You've taken her money. You've taken advantage of her. She's trying to make sure that she covers herself now. He says, I'm bitter and I don't care. I've made an effort with her for years. And what did she do? She betrayed me. She teamed up with Christine when Christine was leaving. She gave Christine her empathy, her sympathy, her kindness, her attention, her time. So you worry about what you're going to do, and I'll worry about what I'm going to do. And I said, what kind of bastard? Let me not call him a bastard, because he's not a bastard. I can't be using words like willy-nilly, whatever, the willy-nilly, like that. But what kind of jerk, what kind of douche, what kind of clown is he that he would talk that way about her? It always comes back to Christine and him being upset that she actually supported someone who became her friend. Janelle says, okay, as she walks off. And then she tells us that maybe it's time for her to officially lawyer up. And it is. Y'all, tell me what you thought about this one. I think that this episode was a lot better than the last, and it's because Janelle saved it for me. Thank you all so much. I've officially hit 18,000. Well, not 18,000. 1,800 subscribers, or 1,800 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time.